Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. It is your purple friends.
Hi, yeah, it's your purple friends. What's up?
And it's your co-host, Joe.
Oh, and your Joe host Co.
And welcome to today's podcast.
We've done this before.
Yeah. And you've been here. And you're here now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for being here despite this show not really having a beginning or end.
Oh my God. Yeah, it really doesn't.
But anyway, barreling right on through.
Yes.
How you doing today, buddy?
Me or them?
You.
Me. I'm doing good. It's been busy.
Busy.
I mean, I'm sure everyone here can agree, right? It's September, it's fall, it's mid-September. Everything's happening all at once.
It's not mid-September.
It's not even September yet.
That's how busy everything is.
Oh my God. By the time you hear this, it will be September 1st. And it will basically feel like mid-September by then.
Yeah. Yes. It will always feel like it's been so much more time than it has been.
It's like, wake me up when September ends.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Another song I really hate but know all the words to.
You know all the words of that song?
Basically.
Wow.
Don't we all?
Maybe.
Anyway.
Probably. I don't know. I don't think so, actually.
Everything happening all at once kind of leads into my little grateful, if you don't mind me just making that little segue.
Please do. Get us out of this intro hell.
I'm so grateful because I have family from Honduras visiting us, and they've never been to the States or, weren't really coherent adults the last time they were, you know what I'm saying? Like they were kids, and don't really remember the last time they were in the States. So it's been just wonderful showing them around town, around the city, spending time with them. Most importantly, I have not seen these cousins, I think, since like 2016. So almost a decade. And it was just so nice seeing them and getting to hug them and laugh again and be together. And so anyway, that just means that my schedule is now tight. I'm spreading myself thin between it being the busy season, of course, having lots of clients, which is also a wonderful blessing. Like, honestly, I love my clients. But then, spending lots of time with them, trying to get back on the Stardew Valley farm. I'm also taking pottery classes still. So it's just been a lot, but I'm very grateful for all of those. So those are my little gratefuls. The main one being my family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your turn.
My turn? Okay. It's a little early in the year because, as we said, it's not even mid-September yet, but I'm really grateful for scary movies.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I've been watching a lot lately.
I know.
Yes. Here's some that I have enjoyed recently. The whole 28 Days series.
Yeah. 20 days, weeks later.
Yeah. The New Year's one, that was great. Just finished watching Hereditary like seconds ago for the first time. I'm so late, but that's great, obviously. Just watched Longlegs and Event Horizon and Nope and Smile, and it's just, there's a lot of good horror movies out there. And I was
have surpassed me
in like watching
spooky
them?
movies. Yeah, I feel like there was like I was where you were last year, just watching a bunch of spooky movies on my own, and you're like, I don't know.
I think you're thinking of a few years ago.
Yeah, probably a few years ago. You've actually surpassed me a while ago.
Yeah, because I was actually going through the top 100 horror movies
list,
whatever list by whatever source. But I was just going through, and I have seen like 80 of them, like a lot. So I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I want to watch some of those. I want to watch Smile. Yeah, that's about a therapist.
Let's watch Smile.
So it's really going to freak me out.
Yeah, so that we can watch Smile too, because I still want to watch Smile too.
Yeah, I also want to watch Smile too.
Yeah. Scary movies.
Scary.
What are we talking about today, dude?
Yeah. Does anyone know? Does anyone know what we're talking about today?
Not me. I don't want to raise my hand and make myself the center of attention just in case.
I think I even belong here.
Yeah.
Like, are we even qualified to be podcasters?
Every time I say something, I'm like, oh,
self-doubting.
I feel like kind of an imposter.
Oh. Yeah, y'all guessed it. We're talking about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Which is, might be a little bit of a lighter topic, but it is a very common thing. Especially like with my clientele, I see a lot of like younger people.
Yeah.
And a wide variety of people who I think we'll get into the reasons why, imposter syndrome just hits different populations more.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Almost every individual demographic slice.
Yeah.
Yes. Intersection can be a whole different type. So, yeah. I mean, should we define it like for those who don't know what it is?
Go for it.
All right. And hopefully we don't give you this by identifying you as the person who doesn't know what this is. Imposter syndrome is this persistent inability to believe that your success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of your own efforts or skills. So like despite evidence of competence, if you have imposter syndrome, you're basically convinced that you're a fraud and that your achievements are because of your luck or your timing, or you maybe somehow trick them into thinking that you are competent. It's kind of like an experience of like an intellectual phoniness.
Yeah. Like, how did I get here? Who
allowed me to be at this table?
Yeah. Who allowed me to be responsible for this?
Yeah.
And so it is a very common thing. I mean, across a lot of different settings, right? I think most commonly we might experience this in our workplace, with like, kind of like the first time I had a client, I'm like, who said I knew anything? This piece of paper, because I don't feel it. Anyway, but also like in life, like I think about when we first brought Amari home, and it's just like she lives here now.
Yeah, they just kind of give you a baby and say bye.
Literally, and like, quick side note. It was especially that way for us. We birthed at a birthing center, and like literally 5 hours after giving birth, they scoot us away.
Yes.
Which is like normal. We totally signed up. We knew this was going to be happening.
Yeah.
But like regardless,
a cool experience.
In the moment when we have this 5 hour old,
and it's like sleeting outside, and you have to go buckle it into a car seat
that you've never done before, and your mom is there.
And it's like
spreading anxiety and also wanting to be involved. Like,
hi, Norma.
No, I'm super grateful that she was there, but yes. It was a lot.
She almost didn't make it because Amara was born so fast.
Yes.
That's a story for another time.
Another time. If you guys are interested in that, I mean, I don't mind talking about birth, but anyway.
That was fun.
I know a lot of parents have experienced some level of imposter syndrome when it comes to parenting their children.
Yeah. I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yep. Also, like the arts, our hobbies. We talked a lot about hobbies last week. Like these are all
any group. Yeah.
These are all the different ways that imposter syndrome can kind of creep into your life. So here we are. We're going to tackle it. We're going to battle it a little bit. We're going to try to identify it. And hopefully y'all feel a little bit more strong and ready to combat this part of you that isn't really serving you. But we are learning to understand it.
Yeah.
Should we talk about maybe some misconceptions about it?
Yes. Like maybe the name imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's not really like a syndrome or like an illness or a diagnosable thing at all.
No.
It's really like an experience, a shared experience that a lot of people have.
Yeah, I would say it's a shared experience, maybe with ties and anxiety, but that are definitely like bolstered, I guess, by life experience. It can come out this way.
Another huge one. It only affects quote unquote high achievers, like really successful people. It can affect anyone in any context. Like we were mentioning earlier, really any group of people that has like some sort of like, I don't know how you would put it, but just like a group dynamic.
Yeah. Shared group dynamic. Yeah. Lovely.
Like you could feel like an imposter in your school's computer club. Like you could feel like an imposter in like your local improv class. Like it literally any situation.
I'm not going to lie. Like I have been feeling that a little bit as we joined the chamber.
Yes, that's a huge one for us.
Yeah,
we're like sitting next to people who are like established in this community, who are like extremely wealthy and like know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we're like, hi, I'm a little toddler. We have a business. It's
That is
really
truly
big.
how it feels.
It's purple. Do you like it?
Oh my God, that is here's a sticker.
Yes. Do you like our mug?
Oh my God, but no, like
We do a podcast.
all jokes aside, that is like spot on. But yeah, no, wow, we have not talked about this, but yes, I have felt a lot of imposter syndrome going to chamber events, but and here's the thing, right? Not because of anything anyone there has done.
Yeah, it's not about that.
Yes,
at all.
they're very welcoming. They do not like infantilize us in any way to
at
make
all.
us feel like we're toddlers. We just like that is just again, it hones back into this idea that it's a personal belief. So like I carry that in and I feel it, but no one else around me feels it.
Yeah.
I hope.
And maybe it's just because we have both struggled with imposter syndrome a lot of times in our life, but like we are very like, we get it very much.
And most importantly, the last misconception being that like it's a sign of weakness or whatever.
Yeah.
It is absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think anytime we experience some level of self-doubt, it can feel like a weakness or it can feel really frustrating, which is totally valid. But yeah, I mean, I would just encourage y'all to step into your own power. Like you're there, you're in the seat, you did it for a reason. Like it's earned, it's given. And it really just is that shift in perspective to allow ourselves to fill in that space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to say, like kind of in contrast with like what we were saying about the group being like super welcoming, there's also this coin flip idea of like gatekeeping, which happens in a lot of groups, especially like, I don't know, I don't even know if I would.
Like anything that I feel like
group,
is
honestly.
competitive or like there's some level of comparison, which
Yes.
I think like we can talk about comparison. We're going to talk about it more later, but like I think that's another big piece to this puzzle.
Yeah, but gatekeeping is essentially like, oh, you're not a real this if you haven't done this, or you don't do this.
And withholding that information on
Yes,
how to
yes.
do that thing. Yeah, my God.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gatekeeping, period. And that's something here that like another thing that really inspired us to start Vibe was so that we didn't have to. I talk about this more again later, but I hope anybody listening knows that this is a free source of information, including like ask your questions, ask for mentorship. Like we talk about mentorship a little later because that is crucially important to breaking down some of the barriers with imposter syndrome. Anyway, we are literally here for you.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
That's nice that you said that we are here for you, buddies. Let's talk about some real things people can do.
Yeah.
Real applicable techniques.
Yeah. We have already started talking about reframing a little bit. But I think before then, we definitely have to get good at recognizing and acknowledging the feeling. A lot of the times, if you're newer in a profession or you've never experienced this feeling before, it can be hard to even recognize when it's happening.
Yeah, and maybe it even feels like that's how it should feel.
Right. So like having that attunement with yourself and kind of checking in with yourself. How am I doing? What is this feeling? Where is it coming from? Can really jumpstart you to reframing it, right?
Yeah. That's kind of like a like identifying your imposter and be like, oh, it's just my imposter syndrome talking. It's kind of like an IFS kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You
right?
smiled so much when I said that.
I love talking IFS. It's just so applicable. Because yeah, the imposter syndrome is a part of us that I'm gonna go there is a manager part. It is trying to mitigate things before things get uncomfortable, right? We have this uncomfortable feeling and we're noticing it. And so it creates kind of this sense of self-doubt. And I think it's, again, trying to protect us, right? We feel this uncomfortable feeling. We don't want to feel it anymore. And we feel like we're at, not fault, but like we don't belong. And yeah, sometimes we can just say like, hey, I don't need protection right now. I do belong. I'm good. Like, you can go sit down. I'll call you when I need you.
Yeah. I was so lost in thought thinking how many episodes do I need to say what IFS stands for? Do I need to say it every episode? Internal Family Systems. Go listen to our episode about it. Okay. Another big, huge applicable technique is this is a really hard one, but it's so helpful. Make yourself like a brag journal or a brag list or something like that, like a
success
list. Mm-hmm. Yes. Just the stuff that you have accomplished, because like it's okay to recognize those things in ourselves. It's not bragging if you're just writing it on a piece of paper for yourself to draw on.
And honestly, like, I don't care if you post it on social media. I think a lot of people tend to do like a success journal or a brag file that way by like whether or not it's worthy enough to post on social media, you know, like a graduation or like getting a new house. Like, I feel like these are these big life milestones that like kind of validate our experience and like is maybe a little bit of a journal to like showcase like what I've done.
Wait, you think that? Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, I know that this is there are two sides to this coin, right? Like
there's like one side is like 99% and the other side is like 1%. I feel like
because like I mean it does feed into this idea of the highlight reel.
Yeah, and also just like that's not what it's for. It's not for other people's validation.
Right.
It's for yourself to fall back on.
And
because you're not putting it up for other people to invalidate your other successes. Like that's the whole point, is for it to be totally
for
internal.
you. Yeah, for you. And so like just wanting to point out that like I do see how social media kind of acts as this success journal. And like I said, for the most part, like again, if it is totally for you and social media is a form of expression in that way, I don't care. You know,
I care. No, it's fine.
I truly don't care. Again, if if the purpose is for you, right? But like I said, then there is that other side of the coin.
Sorry, I briefly made this podcast not a judgment-free zone.
That like does contribute to that like highlight reel cycle that can be really detrimental to a lot of people. It's also like this whole idea of comparisons, keeping up with the Joneses, like, getting that external validation versus amplifying your own internal validation. But like I said, I've seen tons of people use social media in a way that is fine. But that line is definitely getting more and more blurred every day. All right. Lastly, I think that talking it, right? Processing
say it out loud.
Yeah, getting it out of your mind, because I always say this, but like thoughts in our mind have unlimited space to grow.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're going to grow, but the moment you say it out loud or you write it down or you express it through art, you stunt it. You know, you kind of cut off the limbs. You're like, this is as far as you will go. And it hits different. I always say that it hits different. So whether it is talking to a friend, journaling about it, going to therapy about it, like whatever it may be, it does hit different. And it helps normalize the experience, which I think is super important too.
Yeah. Just like I had a professor in college, the first college I went to of three.
ICC?
Yes. Actually, you know what? He taught it for my first two colleges, now that I think about it. But he used to say, like, he used to use this in a very glib way, or like people in the media who had done crimes would be like, you the say it out loud test. If you had said, I'm going to do blah, 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 blah out loud, you would have been like, wow, that's a stupid thing to do.
You know, but like for real, I mean, something so simple as that. And
it
like,
hits different, like you said.
It just hits different. And like some of like, I use that technique with like intrusive thoughts, you know,
Yes.
Or rumination. Like when we talk about anxiety, it just hits different when you take it out of your mind, you know, because it, like I said, it has no limits in terms of how big and scary it can grow. But yeah, then you stunt it and you're like, wow, it's actually kind of small. And I'm like, I have power over this thing. Anyway, love that. Please find a way to express outwardly some of these scary feelings.
Yeah. Talking about, can we go back to intrusive thoughts really quick?
Sure.
I feel like that's a phrase or term that gets bandied about online and has been sort of like watered down from what it really means. Like people are like, I get intrusive thoughts about when I drive past a Starbucks that I want to get a Starbucks.
Or like talking about a crush or something, or
Yeah. Can you
like,
help us understand what is an intrusive thought versus like what is just like something else?
yeah, I mean, an intrusive thought is exactly that, right? A thought that is unwanted and persistent, right? So it's like something we don't have control over these thoughts. They kind of pop in and they make themselves known and they want your attention and they impede on our ability to focus or concentrate or function how we usually would. Most importantly, like I said, they're not wanted. And I would consider them, especially like intrusive thoughts related to anxiety or panic, having an element of fear to them too, where it instills or evokes a sense of fear or anxiety in the person, right? I think it also stems from trauma.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I was like debating on whether or not to go down this tangent or not, and we can stay here as long or as little, hopefully, as we need to. But I think I was having this thought earlier today because unfortunately we got news of another school shooting in this country, and I was thinking, I'm like, everyone in this country is a little traumatized just from living here, and I know that's not a unique experience. I know that's not just here in the U.S., but I think about so many parents that have intrusive thoughts about taking their kids to school. Those are intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't shake them. They're persistent. They're scary. They completely, like even just talking about it, I'm sure you can already sense a shift in
Our tone.
energy and tone. Yes. So that's intrusive thoughts, right? Like having this like fantasizing about someone or craving, like just being mindful of them, of how we describe them, you know, because I do think like driving past Starbucks and like resisting the urge to stop, if that's like a habit that you have, can feel like an intrusive thought, but I would consider that more a craving or more a habit breaking thing, you know, maybe even a little bit of an obsession or, you know, like even make an action. Strike that last one.
Okay. Well, I have a question. This is maybe semantics, but like when we talk about intrusive thoughts and when we talk about things like disorders, the word disorder is usually referring to like a disordered thought process. Intrusive thoughts are things that disorder your thought process. And like you said, they get in the way of your life. They can become obsessions or your life can become, or you can become obsessed with preventing them.
Unable to move out of the fear of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the fear of what they evoke.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I just wanted to take that quick diversion because I saw a few things this week that I was like, people don't know what intrusive thoughts are anymore.
Yeah. No, I know. Maybe, I don't know. Would anyone be interested in like an episode, like a glossary episode?
I've been thinking that literally like so long, dude.
Yeah.
We should totally do that. I even have a list already of like different mental health professionals, like at the various levels and the different letters that follow people's names and stuff like that.
I think we have talked about that.
Yeah. We would have to come up with a way to make it fun though, because otherwise we're literally just like
reading a dictionary.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to step into talking about intersectionality since there are lots of juicy things in there that I think are super crucial and important. Starting with like marginalized groups, right?
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome tends to hit a little harder for people in marginalized groups, including, but not limited to, women, people of color, LGBTQ individuals, people with disabilities, or really anything else that you feel othered, you know, or like, this is not common for me to be in this profession, or like there isn't a whole lot of representation of individuals like myself in this profession. And that is, I wrote at the top of that section, like, why representation matters.
Yep.
Because it just gives anybody else in that community an example, the validation, the quote unquote permission or the okay to say, I can do that too.
Yes. I have it highlighted here. The lack of role models who look like somebody or share their background can totally make them feel like an imposter, totally lead to developing imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. When you are one of few of, like I said, of your community in any given field or profession, like it really kind of highlights that feeling for us, because I mean, we're social creatures, right? Humans are very, very social. One of our biological needs is like socializing, and like our Maslow's hierarchy of needs, kind of foundationally to that is love and belonging, right? And we're very keen to recognizing or feeling if we don't belong and noticing that. And that's just another lovely thing for our anxiety to latch onto.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what happens when you notice and you look around and you're like the only woman in this engineering firm, or, you know, the only person of color at this doctor's office, or, you know, the only queer person at
the family reunion.
At the family reunion. Yes. Or at your kids' like drop off, like it completely others you, and it's noticeable. So like I said, it's just an easy thing for our anxiety to latch onto, and can start to develop feelings of imposter syndrome. I wanted to say a little bit about representation, because although I, of course, you know, I'm a big proponent of it. If you find yourself in a position where you can be a representative of a certain community, in that space, in that field, great, lovely, wonderful. Step into that power, be the representation you wanted and needed. But it does put more responsibility, more pressure on that individual, right? To represent
yes,
a whole
everybody.
Community. Yes. And it's like, bro, I just wanted to be a lawyer, or I just wanted to be a mom. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that like I wanted to be this force of change, or like I want to be, you know, take on this educational role of like being a good representative of like people like me can do it, you know? So I do just want to acknowledge that like it can add additional undue responsibility on, again, marginalized communities. The responsibility continues to lie and fall on the people who are already behind. So it's a little frustrating in that sense. But like I said, it doesn't take away from the fact that representation is important. And if you feel like you can, or you have the energy or the means to be that, lovely. And I'm very grateful for you. But yeah, it doesn't mean that you have to be that person. If you just want to be a woman in engineering doing her job, like that should also be allowed.
Yeah. You know what it makes me think of? Do you remember a couple of weeks ago when I don't know if I showed you a meme or I just described it to you, but it was basically like, it was an autism something forum. There was basically like, who else remembers when Greta Thunberg was our public mascot instead of this Nazi? And it was a picture of Elon Musk. And it's like, it truly is like down to one person for some groups. Like the public consciousness only has room for one person with autism. You know what I mean? Like I think of
like the few Black actresses that like have roles, and or like it, that. Because I'm sure that, again, they, like, I think of Viola Davis,
right?
You know, like, and I feel like she's a wonderful advocate and representative, but like, I'm sure that she feels like, why is it always me? Or like, you know, again, recognizing that there are other wonderful Black actresses out there that can do the role, you know, but like, there isn't this curiosity or exploration of it. And that's a whole other thing. I mean, we're kind of diverging a little bit from imposter syndrome, but like that's a big ask. Like, yeah, it's a big ask anytime you're the point person for a whole community.
Yeah, and it's rough. Should we talk about how to make it less rough.
Yes, let's do that.
Overcoming some obstacles. What are some obstacles?
Yeah, maybe we should identify those
Yeah.
first. Some things that I've noticed a lot with clients is that they tend to kind of lean into perfectionism when they start to feel imposter syndrome. And that is a manager part. Perfectionism is a manager part, right? Trying to manage everything so that we can avoid uncomfortable situations. And in this situation, right, our anxiety is telling us we don't belong here. You're going to get canned any moment. Like they're going to dump you or whatever our anxiety is telling us. And that manager part, right, the perfectionism of like us trying to mitigate all that and make sure that there's no room for error so that no one can say anything about my job is so exhausting. And I'm sure can be working against you. Like that's just a lot. And I doubt that most of your coworkers are putting in the same amount of effort. Anyway, with that being said, I think allowing yourself to submit certain drafts or, getting the job done and having that be a priority can start to help us be okay with things that are less perfect, right? I think a lot of us have really high expectations of ourselves, which is a lovely thing. Like, I think if you have high expectations of yourself, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It becomes a concern when it's not serving you, right? When it's kind of getting in the way of you reaching those goals. And just being mindful that perfectionism can easily veer in that direction because perfectionism has no wiggle room. And when we have no wiggle room, we really struggle. Humans are messy and we make mistakes, and we have a lot of things on a daily basis that we're constantly calibrating for. And so being okay with things that are less perfect or drafts or good enoughs can be a really tangible way for us to just still allow ourselves to check it off the box, right? Like common examples would be like meal times for families, that are struggling to step into their own as new parents, or like people are fed. That is okay.
Yeah.
Like breastfeeding. That wasn't,
Yep.
yeah.
You want to talk about that at all?
Breastfeeding?
Or should we skip that?
I could talk about breastfeeding.
And how it relates to imposter syndrome?
I had high expectations of breastfeeding and wanted it to work for me and my kid. And I was going to be one of those moms that breastfed for 2 years, and quickly learned that neither myself nor my daughter was having it.
Yeah, as much as your brain and heart wanted it.
And you better believe that like our inability to make it work made me feel like I'm not doing enough and I failed and, I'm missing out on these lovely moments with my daughter. And it's just like, it really took you saying, I'll never forget it, but like it took you saying, you're not making any nice memories with our daughter. Because every moment I spent with her I was stressed about feeding her, stressed about the next time I would have to feed her. And it was really robbing me from those early times that can just enjoy her and just recognize that I'm still a mom. She's still being fed. I'm still being fed. And that is good enough. Yeah. And it was good enough. She's great.
Yeah.
I'm great.
Yes. Just like to that point, like just the biggest part of fighting imposter syndrome is self-acceptance. That's a huge component.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. That's so true.
You're welcome.
That is so true. Self-acceptance goes a long way. Like, truly. Sometimes we need an okay. I feel like, I don't know, I've had a lot of experiences recently with like people turning 30 and that's like they're okay to just accept themselves for who they are, or like, anyway, whatever it takes for you to give you the permission to be like, I'm okay with me as me. I love that.
Yeah. Here's another big obstacle. Sorry, I have a tick with this word that I always want to sing a song when I say the word isolation. I'm not going to do it. And it's literally taking all of my concentration.
I don't actually even know what you're talking about.
That's good. It's a very hard rock song that I don't even like. a big obstacle with fighting imposter syndrome is isolation. So like, feeling like you're the only one
Yeah.
who's feeling that way.
Yeah, looking around and thinking like everyone knows what they're doing except for me.
Except that doesn't jive with, we all know that so many people are struggling with imposter syndrome.
Literally. I sometimes when I get this feeling, especially like at doctor's offices or something, where I'm like, everyone here knows exactly what they're doing all the time. And the last time I went, I was like, no, actually, these are people. And I'm people, and we're all just people.
Yep. I have that sometimes I have that experience when I'm communicating with clients about billing stuff, when they're like being very apologetic or whatever, and I'm like, no, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm like a person, like,
we get it.
We don't judge you for anything.
Totally. Absolutely. And I think maybe what you're getting at is that like very quickly, if you go looking for it, you'll realize like you're not alone.
Yeah. A lot of people are pretty authentic.
Yeah, absolutely. And so something that might be tangible is like one, being brave, right? Maybe being vulnerable with someone that you feel you can trust. And like share your story. See if you can find related interests, join a group, whether it be at work or outside of whatever the thing that is causing your imposter syndrome. But just so that way, like you start to feel like, oh, okay, I'm not alone. It normalizes the feeling, and hopefully it gives you, it instills hope, right? Because then you see other people who have battled with the same things that you've battled and came out the other end.
Yeah. The testimony from people like that is so reassuring.
Yeah. Like I know, like anytime I started at a new job and I had another person like be like, oh yeah, I felt like that too. And it was like, you'll find your groove quick. Like it's so
I
reassuring.
felt that way for like 3 months, and then I pretty much got it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, okay.
Exactly. Like it really helps.
And if you are a person who has like overcome imposter syndrome, or like you don't struggle with it or whatever, but you know that people around you are, be that person. Be the person who's like, it's okay. It gets better. It's not this bad the whole time. You'll figure it out. Like we all start there. Like it's all fine.
Yeah.
Like you can be that person.
That's very altruistic.
I try it. That's my whole thing.
I mean, I think many people strive to be altruistic, right? Because the thing about altruism too is that like it is reciprocal.
Yeah.
We help others and we get a good feeling out of it. It's not that we're doing it to get the good feeling, but what I'm saying, it's reciprocal, right? Helping someone else helps us. And so that's lovely. I think, like I said, a lot of people strive to be altruistic, and especially like in those situations where they have like tangible, like life experience that can be helpful. It's very easy to dote it. So yeah, if you ever like wonder like, oh, I wonder if they're struggling, or I wonder how they like, I wonder if they felt how I felt on my first days. See if you can lend that hand.
Yeah,
but again, no pressure.
Real swell of you.
Lastly, of course, comparison culture.
Comparison culture. Keeping up with the Joneses, the social medias of the world.
Yeah, I mean,
you talked about the highlight reel earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about like truly how constantly I see just high expectations.
Doesn't it just make you want to get off Instagram?
Yes, honestly. Like I am someone who I would consider to be chronically online, and I've recently hated being online. But something I've been noticing a lot recently, for example, is back to school hauls.
Yeah.
These people buying hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff.
Sorry, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff?
Thousands of dollars, dude. I have seen hauls that like rack up to 10 grand.
Whoa.
I'm not even joking. I mean, maybe those are some exceptions, but generally speaking, these hauls, definitely hundreds. Definitely hundreds of dollars. You know, whether it's like back to school to college or to high school.
Oh yeah.
And it's these reels of people flaunting or showing like what they've bought, and a lot of it is like luxury items or like statusy items, trending items that if I were a kid going to school now, and I know I know my family would not be doing back to, I mean, don't get me wrong, like my parents had us go back to school shopping, and I got back to school stuff. it was lovely. I never felt like I missed out on anything. But like the bar is so much higher now.
Yeah.
And if I were a kid going to school now, having what I had then, it would not feel like it was enough in this day and age. And that leads to imposter syndrome, right? Like if you are the only girl in your 10th grade class without a Stanley Cup, suddenly you're like, I don't even belong here.
Right.
Like if you're the only kid without a matching aloe set, I don't even know what I'm saying. Like suddenly it's like, I can't practice with the other girls.
Yeah, because
like,
they have the aloe pants and the aloe shirt and the aloe headbands.
Exactly. And it's like, I'm not part of this team. Like, it really starts to feel like that. And at the end of the day, like, y'all are just there to learn.
You know what that reminds me of? Sorry, this is another tangent. But it reminds me of, I saw another post about back to school stuff that was from the college perspective. It was all the dumpsters and recycling bins after moving day of just all the boxes and just trash and everything. And then it showed another thing that was 9 months later or whatever. And it was all of the crappy furniture
that they got from those things
that they just threw away after. And it's just like, that's a lot of stuff, gang.
Yeah,
I mean, so much stuff.
I mean, that is a direct link to the overconsumption conversation we had a few weeks ago.
Sorry, throw back to our materialism.
But like, no, for real though, like literally in the back to school halls, I would hear moms be like, oh, we threw out all the other lunch boxes because now we have this one in this color wave. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Yeah. Like, or
there's
like
people in our community and in every community in America who could use school supplies.
Yes, for real. But like, I mean, that's just back to school shopping. That's like one element. I think about the moms who can't afford these back to school hauls and their daughters are like, what the hell, mom? Without understanding truly the ramifications of over consuming and also spending. But then also like, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago too, of like, I was noticing a lot of like teacher talk. I'm not a teacher, but like.
Teacher TOK?
TOK, yeah, like TikTok, of like teachers like showing off their classrooms and like being really cutesy with their things and like their gorgeous setups and stuff. But like, again, if I were graduating from teacher school and I was going into the teacher profession and I saw these teachers, I'd be like,
I make $30,000 a year and I have to furnish my own classroom. Truly.
And like, I know that's a whole other conversation about how teachers are grossly underfunded. And a lot of teachers from Teacher Talk are supplementing their income through TikTok, which I get it. Get your bag where you get it. You know,
that's what America is set up for.
Truly. And like, but again, the other side of that nasty coin is that you're left with a lot of people feeling like they don't belong or feeling like they're not doing enough. It all boils down to that, right? It boils down to this belief that we either don't deserve or we are not doing enough for this thing.
Yeah. And the thing that we need to do to fix it is more stuff.
And that's a lie, right? That's the lie that the anxiety is telling you. That's the lie that the imposter syndrome is telling you, that you need XYZ in order to do this well. No.
Yeah.
You don't.
That anxiety that you feel that tells you to go get that thing. The anxiety that you get when you look at a giant landfill should be so much higher.
Yeah. Like, I could talk about this. Like, literally, I was in pottery class yesterday, and one of my classmates had like a whole new set of pottery tools. And I'm like, wow, these are so nice. And she's like, yeah, at least it helps me feel like I know what I'm doing, you know? And it's like, it got me thinking. I was like, do I know what I'm doing? And literally, like, I had a tool of mine snapping up yesterday.
Oh, you freaking little layperson.
And I'm like, I need another one. And I'm like, should I get the higher brand one? Because I'm
get it. Tungsten.
And clay, you only need your hands. At the end of the day, like, truly, you can just like use your hands and you're fine. So yeah, you don't need to buy into these lies and literally buy with your money into these lies. That's just a whole other element to this. But anyway.
Freaking comparison culture had us going off on a whole tangent.
I know, for real. But it was a juicy tangent.
Yeah, it really helped pad out the episode.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Like, you know what this is. This is an easy one, gang. You just got to love yourself, and you got to accept that there's a lot of other foolish people out there who are in positions of power that they probably don't deserve to be in anyway. So like, even if you are in a place where you are like way outside of your depth or whatever, that doesn't mean you don't deserve to be there, because there's a lot of people in places like that.
And they don't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
The
system is what it is.
Yeah.
The system is what it is.
I love how I said I love y'all, and
And I'm angrily grunting
Yeah.
Matrix script.
we both cope differently, but we are coping.
Yeah, we're coping.
No, but for real though, that is all we had for you today. I hope that like even just dissecting imposter syndrome a little bit can help y'all feel less alone, more validated, and most importantly, accepted.
Yes. And if you like our podcast, we would love it if you could leave us a rating or a review. That would be so awesome.
Super cool.
Or if you want to be a superhero, tell somebody about our podcast, because we don't advertise this podcast. The only way other people learn about it is by word of mouth. So if you know somebody who likes this kind of stuff, or likes podcasts, or likes Jocelyn, or likes to listen to dogs scrounging around in the background or whatever,
This might be for them.
yeah, send them a link. We would really appreciate it.
Yeah. Anyway, we do really appreciate y'all, and we hope you have a lovely couple weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys soon.
In September.
In actually mid-September.
Yes, mid-September.
In mid-September proper.
Spooky season, of course.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Purple Friends is an independent podcast produced by Vibe Therapy Services and is not a substitute for a session with a therapist. Our show art was created by Jocelyn Lang, and our theme music is Nature Nurture by The Implied Bear. Vibe Therapy is an Illinois-based private practice serving clients in person at our Wheaton office and virtually throughout the state of Illinois. We accept Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, United Healthcare, Aetna, and Cigna Insurance. We also offer private pay rates as well as free 15-minute initial consultations. Therapy doesn't have to feel clinical. Visit vibetherapyservices.com today to see if we vibe.